Hi everyone, this is EstaRa with a message for you today. Today is Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. I'm excited to be here. Yes, my hair is really weird, but it's what I do so I don't have to use a hair dryer because I don't like to do my hair at all. So it naturally just brings the curls out. So forgive the messy hairdo. But I also shows you how much I think this is more important than doing my hair before I do video. My day's kind of busy up ahead and I want to make sure I got this in. So I was laying in bed this morning and got some really interesting messages, some really good stuff to share with you. So I want to start with, first of all, we have a new moon coming up soon. And next Sunday is Mother's Day. I know that for everybody who is a mom. So I am actually holding a twin flame meditation that evening on Sunday night. I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will make sure that's in the information here. So what that is an online webinar. You can sign up and join us, which would be really great because the energy is phenomenal as a group. We do a lot of healing and it actually amplifies the meditation. So if you struggle with any guided meditations, often doing the meditations together in a group amplifies the energy and helps you go in a little better. That's the first part of it. The second part, if you can't attend, you can still sign up and you get a recording afterwards. So anybody who signs up before will automatically get a recording of the meditation after it's been performed. So look inside the links for that. A couple other things I wanted to mention before I get into the message, because my guys are like on me this morning about this because I'm very bad about sharing everything. So, and it's not on purpose. I just don't always remember to. And I love what I do and I can't stand doing the technology piece of it, the like business aspect. I really one day I hope I make enough money to hire somebody to do that for me. A lot of people have that. I don't have that. It's just me. And I prefer to be in the the world of la la land than in the world of being like technical human in business because that's not at all where my brain likes to be. So I wanted to share with you, there's an energy empowerment groups that I've created. And so basically, if you're local to Connecticut, I have one once a month in Connecticut where you can come for the class. You can join anytime. I ask that you make somewhat of a commitment so that you can develop and build your own intuition, but also to teach you tools to navigate the world ahead of you, to use different tools to help your physical being. But my goal is actually to raise your vibrational frequency to help you manifest the life that you desire. And that's actually what our message is going to be about today, is about manifestation. So that's, there's one in Connecticut and there's one in New York City. So I do one once a month in New York as well. If you're local to New York, it's in Bayside, Queens. If you want more information, please look at the link below and email me directly at april@soulstarhealing.com. The information will be inside the links below, and just contact me and I'll be happy to get you all the information, where it is, what time it is. It's coming up next week if you're going to do the one in New York. I just did the one in Connecticut last weekend. But I highly recommend them if you want to just like raise your frequency and vibration within a group, also develop your intuition and meet like-minded souls, but create the life you want, because we're running out of time. And I say that and I don't mean that, but we're running out of time of learning it. So if you are aware, it's time to learn it and start using it and putting it in practice. So that's the thing I really wanted to share. And the final message I want to kind of throw out there and put out to everyone is that I am in the process of planning a retreat, a manifestation retreat, which is much more than just manifestation. It's healing, clearing, and you know, creativity. It's going to be an amazing retreat that I'm putting together with a friend that is in Canada. So it'll probably be out in the Toronto area. So if you're from Canada or you're from even out of the country and you want to attend, just, you know, email me so I can put you on the list as soon as I schedule it, because there's going to be obviously a possibly limitation and reservation. So we're going to have like, you know, limited seats, I'm sure. So it will be probably a 4 to 5 day long retreat, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, really in-depth manifestation, very important right now. Okay, so that was my little notes that my guides made me write. I wrote like 3 things I needed to say because they're like, you never tell people what's coming up. So I'm letting you know that. Now to the message. Okay, so I've been laying in bed, and I work every morning when I do my meditations. I work on going into my heart. And so that's like something I'm teaching people, but it's actually something that I really think everyone would benefit from. So if you can just find a way to sit in your heart for like even 5 minutes a day, and sometimes it doesn't even, I don't even have 5 minutes, but if I can scan like 30 seconds to a minute, I do that. And I recommend that you try doing that as well. The reason I recommend that you try doing that as well is because being in your heart energy is completely different than being here in your head. And it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day life in your head because there's so many things in the physical real world that's actually or your physical reality. I don't want to say real world because everything's real world. Even interdimensional, that's real. But in your physical reality, everything's competing for your attention and your interest. And I got to turn my phone off because I'm hearing that it's going to ring. So what is really important is if you could just step away, even for like 30 seconds to 5 minutes a day of just going and sitting in your heart center. And a lot of people may know how to do that and a lot of people may not. So if you don't, maybe I'll run like a little workshop on how to get into your heart center and how to do that. Maybe that's something. If that's of interest to anybody, please let me know. Either comment below in the video or email me. But it's really important that we learn to do this every day. And I've been doing this for like years, but truly been really, really consistent for the last several months. And actually, I would say probably the last 9 months, I feel like, ooh, I'm birthing something now. So the last 9 months, I've been really consistent of being in that space, and it's really shifted my vibration and my focus and my energies. That is really, really important because when you sit in your heart, you start to get much more clarity about your own life, and you get more opportunities of manifestation abilities and possibilities, if you will. So what I want to talk a little bit about today is how we are all master manifestors, but we're not conscious master manifestors, right? So we're all capable of manifesting things in our lives, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And many times what happens as we're trying to create a reality, the attachments, and I recently blogged, by the way, that's another thing, a link that'll be in there. I blogged about the energy we're in right now. You might want to check it out. I think it's pretty good information. It's actually humorous because my guides are funny. I actually like how they give me information, and I just sat and wrote, and I'm really in this writing phase. So we manifest everything that we think about, everything we focus on. And like there's many of you that probably think, oh, I'm really great at manifesting this, but not that. Or you might actually think, I'm really great at manifesting. I just, everything happens, but yet you're still looking for something, you're missing out on something. Part of the reason is because you don't see the underlying piece. And when it's you, it's very hard to see where the blocks are. Because even for myself, it's been really hard over the years to see that. I've had to do a lot of work on me throughout the last, 30 years. And what's really interesting is sometimes I didn't see everything more as clearly as I can see it now. And now because I spend more time on me in the last, 14 years I've been in business, I've spent more time on me every day. Like I am the priority every day in my world, which is a transition because I was that way when I started my business, and then I kind of lost sight of that because I worried about all my clients all the time, wanted to take care of them, make sure their needs were met, and then I forgot about me a little bit. I lost me along the way, and I've reestablished that in the last 6-7 years. So I am focusing on me every day, and so a lot of people get very frustrated because I tell them my brain doesn't even begin to operate until 10 a.m. But that's actually not true. But my human head egoic brain, the one that guides me to the places I need to go next, drive me to the places I need to go, all that stuff, or responding to emails or phone calls, or being analytical of any sort, doesn't begin till 10 a.m. because prior to that is my meditative time, my journaling time, my stretching time, whatever it is I need in the morning. That's what I do for the morning part for me. And it varies every day because some mornings I'm like, oh, I could just lay in bed and keep meditating. Other days I'm like, no, I just want to stretch, or I need to get up and I want to like make a nice healthy breakfast, sit down and write in my journal, or even read or something, or sing. I do that too. All of that stuff happens because I know that I need to be okay. And so that's where I started to like pay attention more of how I was creating. And so every morning when I'm laying in bed, I get messages. And so this morning I had a really clear message to do a video specifically about the topic of twins and manifesting and what's happening. And so one of the things that they gave me this morning, my guides are amazing. I love them and I work with them every day. I've been working with them. I call them my entourage because they follow me everywhere I go. They were saying to me that, you have to remember, because this is for myself, by the way, and this is something I've been very conscious of in the last couple years. And when I say very conscious of, I've been paying attention. Now, do I always catch myself? Not right away. Do I try to catch myself? Yes, I do. And so I've become very conscious of how I think about my twin. I've tried to become very conscious about who I share information with about my twin. Very conscious about what is going on with me and my twin. and sharing it, and very conscious about the words I use around him. And it's really it's really difficult. And when you first start paying attention, you realize, holy crap, I'm still kind of negative, or I'm keeping us stuck in some ways. So my first advice to you is pay attention to your thoughts, your words, and who you talk to, how they respond to you, and what they share with you, and cut them off if they're not. And I had to do this with a friend, probably nearly, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks ago. I had a conversation. I was in a really good space, kind of in a like a malleable space, if you will. So I could be affected easily by whatever was being said. And they went down kind of a negative path towards my twin. And I said, you know what? I only called to share something with you that was really exciting. I don't want to go there. Like, stop. I don't want to hear your opinions or your views. And I go, and I appreciate why you're sharing that with me. I understand you love and care about me, but I don't need that, because that's stuff I already know. And I don't want to bring a focus to that. Not that I don't understand it, not that I'm not acknowledging those things, but I want to bring focus to what it is I want to bring focus to. And so what I've found is that in the recent months, I've noticed that more and more about people in my life that might be negative or might have their own stuff. Because the more I become higher vibrational frequency, the more obvious it is, because I'm looking from a different perspective. I'm looking up from up here versus from at this level. And so I encourage all of you to start off with, number one, pay attention to how you speak about your twin, what you say, what you think, what you feel. That's really important. And pay attention to the labels that you give your twin. And I want to emphasize this strongly, because specifically this morning, my guys were like, you need to make sure people stop putting labels. Talk to them about stop labeling their twin, because they're not seeing potential or possibility. And they're literally locking things in from that perspective. And so what my guys were saying, you're all master manifestors. You're just not conscious master manifestors. Apparently I can't speak or say that really quick. It's a tongue twister. So what they want us to do is to like really be conscious of like how we label our situation, our relationship with our twin. Again, it goes back to paying attention. So the first step always is like, take a notebook with you if you need to, or use your phone. I mean, we can speak into our phone all we want. There's a little voice memo, or there's a notes thing usually on your, if you have a phone like that, which I think the majority of people probably do have a smartphone. There's a lot of people who don't, but there are a majority that do. And what I would say is actually start paying attention by writing down the thoughts that come in about you and your twin. The words you use when you speak to someone about your twin. Just become aware and become very conscious, because what ends up happening is we do a lot of things just haphazardly by not paying attention, by not really being aware of how we're talking. And pay attention to who around you is supportive and who's not. And it might not be like conscious support. It might just be they're in their own ick, if you will. And so that their own ick kind of interferes and affects how you receive information, or how you're experiencing with them your twin relationship. And here's what's funny. I'm saying that, but like, you might be having a conversation about money or something else with someone, and you don't think, well, that has nothing to do with my twin, but it does, because your belief systems has everything to do with you and your twin coming together in physical union. So if you're not yet in physical union, there is stuff that needs to happen to unblock the pathways. Yes, your twin has their work to do, but you do too. We all do. We're never done. And the thing is, we're on this planet at this time to clear away stuff that we brought in from many lifetimes. Excuse me. Archangel Michael, I ask for you to come clear this energy that's affecting me right now. Okay, I'm gonna grab my water just a moment. That was really interesting. Interference because of what I'm saying, obviously, and maybe it's to bring more attention to what I'm saying. We have to continually grow. That is our path. That is our journey on this planet. It might not appear that what we're supposed to do, or we might want to have the spiritual ego of like, no, I'm good. I did everything I needed to do. You could think that way, and that's totally fine. That is totally your choice. However, I like to think that we are here to evolve, just to keep evolving. And keep expanding and really pulling in all these beautiful gifts that we have, all these multi-dimensional gifts that we have access to. And a lot of people don't feel they need that or don't want that. And that's, again, that's your journey and that's fine. But my feeling is, and my belief is, why not? If we are these amazing beings of light, why not utilize all of that in this lifetime? Isn't that why we're here? Like, isn't that why we chose to incarnate in this life? So that is one of the things that's very important. So pay attention to your thoughts. Keep growing. That's number 2. Don't ever stop growing. And number 3, the labeling. Very important. I just mentioned that a few moments ago. Like, stop labeling your twin. So for example, stop saying he or she is a runner. Stop saying he or she's scared. Stop saying he or she, that's just how they are. Stop labeling them with old labels and old patterns. 2 reasons. 1, you're keeping them stuck in that pattern, and we'll talk about that in a moment. 2, you're literally using old paradigm words and belief systems, and you're actually manifesting more of the old paradigm rather than seeing the potentials and possibilities. And perhaps you're stuck in your own stuff, right? So you can't see outside of that. So what I want to say to you is, like, work at getting outside of that block that you have. And it's so easy for me to say, I understand, but it's not. I know in your mind you're thinking it's so easy for me to say, but it's really not, because I live it every day. I have been in love with my twin for 13 years. It'll be 13 years this month. And I'm like overwhelmed at the thought of it being 13 years. Like, that just, oh my God, it drives me crazy to think that. I've known him for that long in the physical. On an etheric level, I've known since I was 5 years old I was going to be with him. And when I met him, I knew he was the one. I knew it. And because it opened up all these doors that I never knew existed, by the way. And I'm sure it did for him too. Of course, he's not quite on the spiritual path fully, although he's trying. And I noticed in recent conversations, I feel like he's trying to reopen where he was opening when he first met me, and then he kind of shut down because a whole bunch of life stuff happened and blocked a lot of what he was doing, his growth. But I feel like that's reconnecting and opening for him, and he's doing that on his own without me, you know, which I love him and I'm proud of him. Yay, you know. And yes, there's times I want him to move faster, but I honestly believe he's moving much faster than I ever thought he'd move. And I'm no longer projecting that he's not moving forward. Even if it doesn't appear on the surface that he's moving forward, I am trusting inside of my soul and inside of his soul, and our love, our union, our connection, our already manifested union. I'm trusting in that being the truth, which means ultimately and in essence, he's actually doing the work. Even though on the outside it might not appear that way to the rest of the world or even to myself, I'm trusting in that. I have faith in our love because our love is that strong. Just like you have that with your twin, and your twin has that kind of love for you. It might not appear on the surface, but it's there. It's inside of you. So please don't ever let that fall away. Don't ever lose that part of you, because that is truth inside. So I want to go back to why it's keeping them stuck. So we're back to the words. We are master manifestors. It's so funny when I do these videos. I have like one topic that pops into my head in the morning when I'm laying in bed, and then I do a video, and my guides, then they start surrounding me when I'm doing the videos, and different thoughts come in and words, and I channel my higher self, my twin, sometimes all of us, right? So all these beings, including myself, but it's kind of, we're all one. So all of this stuff happens, and I start talking and things come through. So when I say we're keeping us stuck, what happens is, like, we are master manifestors. We're literally manifesting everything we want, good, bad, or indifferent. And again, there's a whole different view of what people thought manifestation was many years ago to today. Please, please, please recognize it's a very different world you're working in. The currency is love. It wasn't love before. It's love now. And it's like really important to have an open heart. So that's another piece, but that will come to in a minute. If I don't get there, you guys can all email me and tell me. But what I want to say about the master manifestor, we're literally manifesting them staying stuck. So the more we say, oh, he's a runner, he's running away again, he's doing his old patterns, you know, or she's doing it again, she's avoiding me, she's not calling me. When you do that, when we do that, we're actually putting that energy out there for them to behave in that way. Rather than hold them in the highest light and the highest regard, we're putting them back into the place they were originally, or how they were when we first met them. And even when we're talking about this, not just like not just the bad patterns, if you will. In a lot of ways, we also try to hold on to how it was when we first met them. So I know my experience with my twin when I first met him, we were so enmeshed with each other 24/7 for a few years. Like, it was crazy amazing, crazy horrible at the same time. It like literally pulled us away from living our life, and we were like messing up human reality because of that. We weren't in a balanced place. It was kind of like all I wanted was to be with my twin on a deserted island. Yes, I still kind of want that. But I also know that's unrealistic in the world we're living in and what our job is here on the planet as twin flames. So what I did was I would, over the years, what I've done is I've always sat there and like I'm thinking, oh gosh, why can't we just talk the way we used to? Why can't I have, you know, I don't know, because when I go down that path, why can't I? Or why isn't it? Or when I go down that path, then I start bringing up all the reasons in my own mind, whether they're real or not. Because here it is, we create that reality. So we actually manifest what we are thinking. And so I start to not only think about, well, oh, those wonderful times when we had these long talks. We would talk to 4 a.m. And oh my God, it was so wonderful. His voice, I love it. I won't stay there. I don't stay there. And I don't know if you do, but we don't stay there. We end up getting these little thoughts like, why am I not having that now? Oh, because blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah is happening, or this is what the pattern is, or whatever. And we get so caught up on that. And instead of recognizing, you know what, I need to let go of who they were. Because if I don't let go of who they were, they're not going to evolve, right? Because I'm going to manifest them staying who they were. And if I don't let go of who I was, then I'm not evolving either. And, one of the most important things that I keep saying is we need to keep expanding and growing our vibration, raising our vibrational frequency. We can't do that if we are around people that are part of our old life. So, for example, as you were growing up, think about it. When you were a kid, your parents treated you as a kid. You had a certain role in your family. And this might still apply to you now. You had a certain role in your family. And you got older, you started to live your life, you're doing new things, expanding yourself, and they still hold you to that role. They still think of you in that way. And they don't understand that you're different. They don't treat you as an adult, or they don't see who you've become. And it drives you mad. So I'm thinking some of you feel this. Maybe there's some of you that don't even experience that, don't even know what I'm talking about. But my guess is a good majority of you do. And when that happens, we end up getting like stuck because when we're around these people, they hold us in that space. And so what ends up happening to us, we kind of take on and adapt to that pattern again, even if we've evolved way past it. But when we're around our family, we become that again. Do we have to? No, because we have to recognize we're different and project that differently to them. But we have to own that change inside of us. And we also have to learn not to be around the people who keep us stuck, because if we keep staying with people who keep us stuck, we never evolve. And if they keep seeing us as we used to be, then we never get to see who we can be or who we are. And so it is the same for you as it is for your twin. So seeing your twin as he was or she was is not going to be a benefit to you. And to remember the good old times is not really going to be the benefit, because those good old times may have been 1 year, 1 month, 2 years, 3 years, 13 years, or longer. And if you remember those times, the doubt, the fears, the why isn't it happening, like, oh, the problems, the interference, the blocks that he carries or she carries, all that stuff comes up with what we're saying, so it's not just like, oh, I love him because of this. I'm using him because my twin is a male. I love him because, oh, his eyes are so beautiful. I love when he looks at me. And then we just kind of think, oh, damn it, why don't I have this? We always go down that other path. And that's just ego getting in, protecting us, saying, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? You can't think of the happy things. Look what has happened. Look what's not happened. Look where you are, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff comes up and gets in the way. So we literally manifest more of the same when we're in that. We actually recreate this being stuckness, if you will. So remove labels. Remove labels. The second reason, I don't remember what I said. The second reason is to allow, I don't even know, so I'm going to ramble a little bit more about that. Allowing your twin to outgrow that pattern and that belief. When you don't project that any longer, you're actually creating a different energy. And so the energy you want to create is to recognize the positive things they have done. So my twin, he doesn't know everything that I do. I mean, he knows most of what I do, I've shared it with him. Has he really listened and absorbed it fully? Probably not, because he thinks it's weird what I do. And he's gotten stuck on, I talk to dead people. Well, when I met him, I had a really amazing message from his father, freaked him out like crazy. But he knew that it was true, because where would I come up with that? But recently we've had a discussion about that, and he said to me, I don't know. I think when you die, you just die and you're dead. And that's it. And he goes, but I want to believe what you say and what you believe. And I was like, wow, I was fascinated that that's like even a thought in his mind, because obviously I'm like 1,000 miles away from that in my thoughts about death. And the fact that he was willing to share that with me, number one, is huge. And the fact that he's willing to explore is even huger. So most people could say, wow, he totally doesn't get you. It's like ridiculous. Why would you want that? Blah, blah, blah. People can choose to say that, right? And maybe in the past I would have said that. But my view now is, oh my God, he is like willing to explore it. And he's willing to share his exploration with me to the extent that he's willing to, and he's capable of. That's huge. And so I'm actually looking at that as progress versus him just pretending he agrees with what I'm saying, and or not agreeing with what I'm saying and just writing me off as crazy. Or he used to joke and say, "You're such a weirdo," but he would mean it in a very playful way. But it's still, I told him once, I'm like, that just hurts me so much, because I know you mean it playfully and facetiously, and I know that it's not to harm me. I'm like, but it does hurt me, because this is who I am. And so it's a really big deal, right? So that's advancement, improvement. So as long as I hold on to those things and I focus on the good that's happening with us, that's huge. Or even the signs and the messages. I don't know about all of you, but I see my twin's name everywhere. Quite honestly, I meet people with his name all the time, which is so bizarre and weird, because he doesn't have like a common name anymore. It's not a name that you hear all the time anymore. And I literally will meet people that come and say, "Hi, I am," and they'll give me the name, and I'll be like, "Thank you." And I'll be like shocked, right? And one time this happened where literally it happened 3 days in a row, and 3 nights in a row. I went to 3 different meetings, and this man's name came to me the first meeting, one man, and the next night another man said the same thing. The third night, and I literally couldn't hold back anymore. Out of my mouth, it just flew out. The person's like, "Hi, I'm so and so," and I was like, "Of course you are." And I was like, "Oh shit, I said that out loud." But I did, not intending it to be harmful, but I was like, "Oh my God, of course you are," because there's a message here, and I'm trying to dismiss it, not paying attention to it. So it's important to pay attention to those messages as positive signs, rather than be like, again, because a long time I've seen his name forever, and when I did, I'd be like, of course I see his name. Stop showing me his name. But the truth is, there's a message there, and we're meant to be in that energy, right? So that instead of looking at it as a negative or like, again, can I have something more? Look at it as, wow, yay, this means there's an alignment happening. So you might not be in alignment, but that's meaning you're getting more aligned, because you're getting more and more messages. So trust the messages that are coming is another message my guides want me to share. The other piece, the last piece that I want to share about the manifestation with your twin, it's really, really important to pay attention to your view of him, her. It's very important to recognize what you've been projecting upon them. So the first thing is pay attention to your thoughts. Start paying attention to what you think, feel, or say, or hear. Pay attention to the people around you. Recognize what they're doing around you and how it's affecting you in your life. And pay attention to what you're holding on to. Because when we have an attachment to something, the fears get attached as well. It's not just what we want to manifest. So how many of you have met people who said, you go up to them and you're like, "Hey, how are you?" And then you have somebody say to you, "I'm great." And you're like, oh, like they're saying I'm great, but you could just feel this coming off of them. That is how the universe works. So when you're manifesting, believe me, the universe isn't hearing "I'm great." The universe is hearing ugh. And so if you're saying, like, for example, you could say, I manifest full physical union with my twin flame. Do you believe it? Inside of you, you need to look at what's going on to see if you believe it or not. And that's what you're manifesting from there. So that's the work that has to happen, and that's the work that needs to be done. And it's not always easy to discover on your own. That's why I'm doing the retreat, and that's why I want to teach this class the way that I'm setting it up, because I feel like it is so imperative that we all come together and really really help each other, because we're not supposed to be lingering anymore. And I feel like, so all my life, my guides have said to me, you're a master manifestor. I've been a master manifestor. I manifest the most ridiculous things that you can imagine, like trips, places for free. I've manifested a beautiful dining room table. Like I wanted one really bad. When I let go of how I was going to get it up the stairs and, oh my gosh, how am I going to get a table and all this stuff? All of a sudden it literally shows up. The people to move it just showed up out of nowhere. Everything happens. Like I'm able to do that. Now I'm able to put it in writing about what we're doing and how to manifest. So I already know kind of how to do the thinking process and the letting go and the clearing and all that stuff. But now I have the extra tools of how to do it in a multidimensional way and how to use the currency of love. And I say currency because it's understandable that there is an exchange, and it's not it's like a creation. It's not really an exchange. It's more of the creation energy of love. But I use currency because everybody thinks that they have to, like, there's a cost to it. Yeah, and in this case, the cost is going into your heart and being in there and understanding your love center and understanding how you use that to manifest. So stay tuned for more information at some point. But I really want you to stay tuned. And if you're interested in this retreat, interested in learning more, please contact me. And I'm always available for sessions. I really want to help you achieve your dreams. And I want you to come into full physical union. It's time. This is a very, very important year. I've been mentioning this since the beginning of this year, but I'm going to mention it one more time. It is such an important year for twin flames. Like, this is it. Like, this is the time we're necessary. We've been necessary all this time, the wake up part, but the union part has to happen. So hold your faith. Don't give up. Namaste. So much love to all of you. Blessings.